remember over spring break we went to visit family in Iowa, and you were saying that you were gonna kill yourself. So we called our family friend, and they helped you kind of calm down a bit and get distracted from that. And I spoke with you, and I asked you if you had any plans for it because I knew you didn't have any access to sharps, and when we visit relatives, they know to hide their silverware and their scissors and stuff like that. I knew there wasn't access to anything. In the same hand, anything can be a weapon. So I asked you, do you have a plan? And you're like, what do you mean? So I explained that, if you have like a plan, something planned out to hurt yourself, then I need to take you to the ER. Do you remember that? We got off the phone with the family friend when you were fine, and then as soon as they got off the line, you said, I'm gonna miss everybody. And I asked what you're talking about. And then you repeated it in like a whisper voice. So I told you, let's get the sidewalk chalk. You can go outside and play. There was no plan or anything. After spring break, we come back and you go to school, and you go to the school social worker, and you tell her you have a plan to kill yourself. And I shouldn't have said like how things work, because that excess information is usually what gets you in trouble. But you told her you had a plan, and it was that you were gonna stab yourself. But you don't have access to sharps still, because we also don't have anything out at home. And so I explained to her that we just went over this, and you told me you didn't have a plan, but if you did have a plan, we'd have to go to the ER, and it was my bad. I shouldn't have said that, because then you would know how things work, and then you would misuse it. So I said, you're fine. And then you did your hair, or helped do your hair with braids, and then you like brushed it out, took it out. And then she sent an email asking if you needed help with your hair. I'm like, no, my hair is fine. Like, she's learning how to do it. She's got all the products. She offered to buy you products. And she's got all this stuff. I don't know why she's chosen to go out and about with her hair brushed out like that when it's half undone. I'm not sure. And around that time, you went to the school social worker and told her you're scared of your brother and that you wish you could run away to her house. And she held good boundaries, and she said, you can't come to my house. Like, I work at the school, and you don't know where I live, right? And then around that time, you got your first period, and because you don't shower without reminders anyway, and even then sometimes you stand there and just turn the sound on of the water, they were talking to you about, BO and hygiene. And they asked, have you told your mom about this yet? And you said, no, I'm afraid to. Which I've been saying for a while, and already pre-packed your backpack with some pads. Told you could have a monarchy party like your older sister did, if you want to. So there wasn't really any reason to be afraid of it, but that's, as you said, the first thing that came to your mind was to blame your mom. So then with concern, your social worker at school comes back to me and says, hey, like, what's going on? And it's just back to back to back, because you didn't get to go to the ER in the first place. And then literally like 2 or 3 days after that, you walked into traffic, told the officers you couldn't walk because your legs were broken or hurting. And then, as you know, nothing actually happened with that, but after the scans turned out fine, you went back to school, nothing happened. But you told kids your legs were broken. And you did get your visit to the ER. That was all in the course of like 2 weeks. Why do you seek out the attention of outsiders, do you think? Well, I'm looking for more of an answer than I don't know. Your last therapist didn't accept that.
I don't know. I just wanted attention.
Mm. Do you, when you're doing that stuff, ever consider the other people involved and how much stress that puts people under? To constantly have to go back and forth with all the people you're lying to?
No.
Mm. So, what are your main thoughts when you are telling these lies to outsiders?
I don't think.
Hmm?
I said I don't think.
What do you mean you don't think?
Like, I just don't think about the lies. I just tell lies. Like,
Mm. Reminds me of what you said about friends before. Do you remember that conversation? I felt like it was pretty enlightening because you said that you have to put on this facade of who you are, like faking being somebody else to get new friends. And then once they realize your habits and your patterns, and they don't want to be your friend anymore and they drop off, and your energy gets really low, and you're laying around the house until you find a new friend. Then your energy zings up, and you're putting on this act again to this new person until they find out who you are, and then they want to leave, and then your energy is low again. You're laying around the house. And you said that it's an exhausting pattern because you have to keep finding new people. I believe that's true. I believe it is exhausting for you. In the same manner that you are seeking out that new attention from new people, does it feel similar when you're telling these lies and trying to get attention from outsiders? Hmm.
I said yeah.
Oh, okay. And it sounds like from what you said so far that there's not a whole lot of thought about anybody else involved. It's mostly how can I fulfill my own needs when I do these things. Is that right? Okay. So aside from wanting attention from outsiders, what do you think the need is underneath of that? Is it coming down again to like you're bored and you want to stir things up, or what is it?
No, it's just attention.
Just attention. And when you get shallow level attention from people who don't know you, do you feel like in masking that way that you escape from how you really are for some time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, I don't have to worry about anything else. Like, well, I have to. I guess like I don't have to worry about like all the other stuff that like I do or like have to like keep on like talking with people about it. Then I get to like escape from like that type of stuff.
That makes sense to me. Do you see how you're still perpetuating the cycle of your behaviors though? You're just grabbing more people to involve in it. That's still you underneath.
Yeah.